Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction, starring a major cast actors that would soon set out to be a movie to be remembered. Quentin Tarantino's masterpiece involves both the dismal mob world and the gloomy world of amateur robbers. The intro itself sets out to be one of the most iconic and yet later most revealing scenes throughout the movie. The most astonishing facts about this movie is its low budget of only $8 million, which by the effort of talented actors and a finished plot meant a box office of over $210 million. The story itself might at first glance seem a bit chaotic, but if you manage to see through the entirety of the story without missing out on points, you might start to see the brilliant thing that they've done when it comes to structure. It reveals the point of no returns in major scenes before you as the audience realize its importance and meaning, which makes it a very unique structure and is definitely a plus, which is one of the highly regarded features of this movie. The structure itself, if we look at it from a developed point of chronological version of it, the first point is that so the structure from a developed point of view, a developed chronicle version of it, where we first see Vince meeting with Butch, which sets out to be which first meant a rivalry at first hand. This is a very important view, as you see later in the movie itself. The next feature is the date with Mia. The date with Mia is not as important as many of the other points, but it's still one of the scenes where we actually get to know the character Vince. After that, we have the Tasty Burger incident with Brett, where they go to meet up with Brett, who somehow has cheated or dismissed their loyalty to Marcellus, which meant his death. This is a very important scene, as we see in the ending of the scene. We see a guy coming out of the bathroom trying to shoot Vince and Jules, which actually leads to a major development in characterization of Jules. After that, we have the JT, or rather Vince, who kills Marvin in the car, which means that the story takes a whole different point now, where they have to get it disposed of the body and try to work out a situation from there. With later revolves Jimmy and Wolf, who comes to doesn't play as big as a role in the feature itself. Then we have the restaurant episode, or rather scene. The restaurant scene is a very important scene, as we see the culmination of Jules' development as a character. Then we have the point of no return, Butch, which is where he kills the boxer Floyd in the ring, which means that his contract with Marcellus is broken, and he later gets to run off and gets hunted for the rest of the story. Then we have Butch, who in his apartment to collect his old watch kills Vince, and the reason Vince gets killed is because Jules is not there to protect him, and the reason Jules is not there comes later in his character development. And then we have where Butch runs off, which pretty much is the end of the story.
Then Jules undergoes personal development from the beginning of the film and toward the ending. In the beginning, both Jules and Vince are presented as hardcore criminals who carry out the dirty work. In the beginning of the film, we see two amateur criminals who tries to rob a restaurant. It does not make any sense to show this scene if it doesn't have any influence for the film, which it becomes later on, because it becomes the culmination of Jules' personal development, which brings him to his release of the two amateur criminals. Especially in the scene with Brett, where the guy hiding in the bathroom shoots to kill Vince and Jules, but misses entirely. That proved to be a revealing moment for Jules. Jules decides that this moment was a miracle by the act of God. He takes this experience as the foundation for his personal development. The scene after Brett's murder, they drive in the car with Marvin in the back. Vince accidentally kills Marvin, and covers the car inside in blood, which proves to be a major problem since uh, it reveals their identity to cops around. They therefore decide to call a friend close by and solve the problem there. This strikes Jules' mind and places the last dot in his process toward changing his lifestyle. Then shortly after this he reveals his decision to Vince and expresses his thoughts of living a life as he wants a peaceful life.
Yes, and there are a lot of comparative scenes in the film Pulp Fiction, and the two that we've chosen sort of shows the development of Jules. And the first scene is the scene with the tasty burger, where Jules tries to get some information from Brett about cells, and in this part of the film and Jules' personal development, Jules doesn't think about his strategic maneuvers in terms of getting information. He shoots Brett in the shoulder without receiving the information that he wants, and he also shoots his friend uh, without any apparent reason. But Jules learns from that episode because the guy hiding in the bathroom tries to kill him and Vince, and he got to think about how lucky he were, and that God is protecting him, but God won't be protecting him for the whole life. So later on in the restaurant scene, Jules has learned from previous events. He's now more strategic, and he's better at taking it easy and cooling down. Uh, and there is a quote from the episode with Fred where Jules says, "Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time." And Brett says, "He's black." Jules says, "Go on." Brett says, "He's bald." Jules says, "Does he look like a bitch?" And then Brett says, "What?" And then Jules shoot him in the shoulder. And in that quote you can see that Jules tried to be dominant and tyrannical. And after the episode where God is protecting him, he thought that that wasn't the right way to approach things. So in the restaurant scene, Jules wants to be the good man and help others, just like it's written in the Bible, because he's very religious. And he says something very important in the restaurant scene. Jules actually says that he is in a transitional period, which could be his personal development that Harry talked about. And he's coming with a quote in the restaurant about his own personal development. And we can see that clip now.
Admit your ass. I never gave much thought to what it meant. I just thought it was some cold-blooded shit to say to a motherfucker before I popped a cap in his ass. I saw some shit this morning that made me think twice. See, now I'm thinking, maybe it means you're the evil man, and I'm the righteous man. And Mr. 9mm here, he's the shepherd protecting my righteous ass in the valley of darkness. Or it could mean, you're the righteous man, and I'm the shepherd. And it's the world that's evil and selfish. Now, like that. That shit ain't the truth. The Truth is, you're the weak, and I'm the tyranny of evil men. But I'm trying, Ringo. I'm trying real hard to be the shepherd.
And in this quote, he says, Jules actually says to Ringo how he has developed into a person that wants to help other people, and when he says he's trying to be the shepherd, then he actually says that he tries to help Ringo get a better life, and that was the two comparative scenes. That was it.